tell us, we do not believe that this is a plane crash. Quote, we are not missing any planes at this time. Now, that doesn't discount the fact that there could be a chain of things that led up to this. Obviously, you have to have an ignition source for this to go off. If it's a gas station, you can surmise that, you know, maybe it started as an accident, somebody hitting a pump, somebody dropping a cigarette, whatever. If it was a plane that went down, that certainly would be enough to dig into the ground and blow up a gas line that happened to be running, you know, just below the surface. We have all kinds of differing, you know, options here. I think we should probably wait for an official response from somebody, and we'll go with that.
All right, thank you very much, Ken. We're going to go to Joe Vasquez, who is on scene. Joe, are you at the command center? Where are you?
No, I'm not at the command center. I'm at the intersection of San Bruno and Skyline. And bear with me, because the gentleman here was just asking me a question, and I'll relay his question to you, Dana. What was your question, sir?
Is it confirmed that a plane went down?
Okay, yes, so there's the question several people have asked me, Dana, is whether it's a plane crash, but I heard you say that, in fact, so far, no confirmation of that. And so what we have, if I may paint a picture for you out here, and you've been seeing it from above, I'm sure, it's just a constant flow of ambulances and fire trucks. There's a life flight helicopter waiting to see if more injured people have gone by. Talking to witnesses out here, they saw possibly as many as a dozen people being transported out of here, but that is not the official confirmation yet. You know, and in fact, there are people here waiting to find out what has happened with their loved ones, because in some cases they are trapped in the neighborhood.
Joe, let me ask you, we've been hearing about a gas station at Skyline and San Bruno, where you are basically right now. Is there one in that area?
There is a gas station here. It is the Econo gas station, E-C-O-N-O, but it is several football fields away from the source of the fire, so it does not appear that that is the source of the fire. And at this point, I just haven't been able to get a complete visual on what exactly.
Right. You said, though, that there are people who witnessed injured being taken away via ambulance.
Yes, that's right. We said about half an hour ago, as one lady told me, that there were one after another ambulances, perhaps as many as a dozen, leaving the scene, that they had already loaded up and gone. But, you know, that is secondhand, you know, and usually we wait for the police to tell us how many are injured. But clearly that indicates, though, that, you know, ambulances were taking people, code 3, lights and sirens out of here. That means there are at least some injured folks.
Well, the terror is that this happened at 6:15, around 6:15, which is the dinner hour. And if it, you know, as it appears, came out of the blue, we hope that there aren't people injured, but the possibility is very good.
You can't look at the devastation of these neighborhoods, these homes.
I got to tell you that I can actually feel the heat from the street here, from the intersection, as those flames are looking higher and higher. And every now and then we'll see a plane dive bomb down, drop all that, you know, all the fire retardant on the scene. And it's hard for me to see here, but I see a lot of black smoke, and it seems like it may be diminishing ever so slightly here.
Well, the black smoke may be coming from these homes now that are burning all around this heat source. What is the activity from the police and the fire department in the vicinity where you are?
You know, it's a constant flow of traffic. You just see fire trucks coming in, Cal Fire, local fire departments, airport fire trucks, and you know, police officers just pulling people in. They're running around like a movie scene, and I mean, they're just people are. It's like a track meet. They're just running back and forth, directing people in, and trying to set up a staging area here. I don't know if this is the command post, but it appears. You know, I'm looking at several dozen ambulances, at fire department, at police cars here. And again, you've said the term Lunardi's. That is a grocery store here. So on one side of the street, you have Lunardi's and the Econo gas station.
We can see that on Chopper 5 now.
So then across the street is where the fire is. I see no evidence of the fire, you know, on the side where Lunardi's
where they are.
And Econo.
Hey, Joe, perhaps the best lead we can give you to pursue out there is what we heard from an eyewitness. Andrew from Pacifica was on the phone shortly before we got a hold of you, and what he described to us, and this is what I want you to pursue, is that he described the ground. He saw the ground like in a movie, the ground actually like rising up. He said like a truck was driving underneath the ground, and then there was the explosion, which leads us to believe, especially the way the source of this fire looks like, it is a type of a natural gas under pressure explosion and fire.
Right.
We will definitely pursue that. I can tell you that I don't smell anything. I don't know if that's a factor to be considered in all of that, but the fact that the fire seems to be regenerating, despite their efforts, it doesn't seem to be going right out.
Right.
It's a possibility.
You know, it's 7:30, and just to update you, if you were just joining us, at about 6:15, our chopper caught flashes of an explosion and fire, San Bruno area near Princeton Boulevard and near the Lunardi's and the Econo gas station over there. This is as good as we can lock it down. We haven't gotten any other street names, but there are clearly dozens of homes that have caught fire and been incinerated. We do not know the source of this fire. What we can tell you exactly is this: the FAA believes and has sent out a press release saying that they do not think that this explosion has been caused by a downed plane. The duty managers at Oakland International Airport, as well as SFO, have no missing planes that they can speak of. They also do not believe this is a downed plane. We have spoken to eyewitnesses who say they have heard sounds. They live in the flight path of SFO. That they heard unusual sounds, but we have not talked to anybody yet who saw a plane go into the ground. So we just want to really share this skepticism with you, because we don't want to overreach on this story. We also have unconfirmed reports that this might be a natural gas line.
And PG&E has told us it cannot confirm that this is any type of a PG&E line. But Ken Bastida back in the newsroom, and what do you got, Ken?
Yeah, that's right, Alan. PG&E just saying that they're investigating at this point. They obviously have word of what's going on, and they've got people down there trying to figure out exactly whose line this is and what is this, if it is a utility line that's been ruptured. What we have is word from SFO, specifically Flight Tracker, that SFO is functioning normally. Flights are coming and going normally. There are no delays reported associated with this. And once again, just to reiterate what the FAA told us earlier, they are missing no planes at this time. They do not believe that the explosion was caused by an aircraft. So we're beginning to kind of narrow this thing down to possibly a utility pipeline problem, although that has not been confirmed by anybody right now. There are, again, a lot of companies in the Bay Area. Kinder Morgan, there's PG&E. There are a lot of private companies that run utility lines and gas lines under residential areas, along freeways, all over Northern California. What touched this off is really still the mystery, and what is burning, what's continuing to come out, is really still unknown at this point, and we're working on trying to find out for you.
Okay, but when you look at the source of this, Ken, as we talked about before, the high pressure, it's coming out of there. You know, kind of like the pressure that we saw with the oil spill in the Gulf, the way that was coming out of there uncontrolled.
Yeah, somewhat similar. And you know, Alan, you've covered them, I've covered them. Dan, I'm sure you've been there when natural gas lines have been ruptured, and there is a roar that is not unlike a jet engine. I mean, it's a scream under pressure. Material that is coming out, and it can sound like a jet to people. We had reports that people said, I heard something that sounded like a boom. I heard something that shook my house. There was a shock wave. You know that would be consistent with this kind of an explosion.
Ken, we have a very good shot from Chopper 5 right now. You can see that the Earth, wherever this explosion, this source is coming out right now, there seems to be a huge divot. I don't know if it's an end of a road or if it's just grass that was there, but it seems that there is some kind of cut to the earth there. Right.
You can also see what looks like either material in the form of some kind of an oil or a gas being pushed around, or the earth itself, dust being moved. And there's obviously something under pressure right there. Yeah, I mean, you can see that, and it ignites as it hits oxygen a few feet away. So there's obviously something going on. right there in the street. Actually, it looks like the street because there's a car parked right there. It looks like the street has actually buckled and come up the pavement. So
it looks like a crater effect.
We may be narrowing this down. I should point out to you that CHP is now closed 280 northbound completely.
Okay.
280 northbound, that's a huge north-south route for people heading down the peninsula. So Belmont, San Carlos, all those areas south of San Bruno, 280 is closed at 35 at Skyline, so you'll be rerouted there.
And Skyline's closed too, right, Ken?
And Skyline is closed too. They need that area for, obviously, the emergency vehicles that are coming in and out. And, you know, as happens, as is human nature in every one of these kinds of disasters, people want to come and see. People want to come down. And we've gotten an alert from the San Bruno Police and Fire to please don't do that. We've got better pictures than you'll ever see if you try to drive down there, if that's what you're into. We can show you what's going on from our helicopter. And there's no need to get down there and just get in the way. And really, if people are hurt or injured or worse, you don't want to block that effort that's going on. So,
you know, in fact, we got word from Joe Vasquez, who's down on the ground in that area near the Lunardi's and Econo gas station, who said that he saw a line of ambulances. He got unconfirmed reports from witnesses standing by that said, who told him that they witnessed people being taken away by ambulance. We are trying to contact the hospitals in the area to find out how many, if at all, have been injured in this incident. We have someone on the phone right now from the vicinity. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What's your name?
Sean Kent.
Hi, Sean.
What can you tell us?
I just wanted to tell you that looking at the streets there, I live in San Bruno. That's Claremont and Glenview Drive.
Claremont and Glenview.
Yeah, and there's no gas station in that immediate vicinity except for, you know, near the Lenardi's there, and that one's still intact. So it's definitely not a gas station explosion.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Do you live in that vicinity?
I live about a mile or two away. So.
Were you home at the time at around 6:15?
Yeah, you could hear kind of a loud rumbling noise. It did sound like, you know, a low-flying airplane or so. Yeah, you could definitely hear, you know, a loud grumbling noise for, I don't know, 10 to 20 seconds. And then afterwards, since I live kind of a distance away, so you could kind of hear, like, little pieces of, you know, particles or whatever kind of hitting the roof or landing outside on the ground, you know, whatever debris falling from, I guess, the explosion.
Right. All right. Thank you very much for calling us. We appreciate it. You know, we've been watching the tankers. They're dropping, obviously, water and possibly fire retardant down from the planes and choppers that are in the area. I'm wondering if there's any weather issue going on right now. Roberta, can you tell us what's going on weather-wise?
Yeah, Dana, I'm taking a look at the current conditions right now because I got to tell you something. Right now, I've been receiving lots of reports from people on Twitter and on my personal Facebook, and they've been sending me pictures from Sneath Lane and Sequoia Street. And as they send me pictures from those two particular streets, I've been able to zero in on the weather conditions in those areas. And I see the winds are now beginning to really increase. Out of the west, 21 to 28 miles per hour. And that's all associated with a deepening marine layer that is just offshore of San Bruno due west. Now, this bank of low clouds and fog, as it rushes on shore, it picks up that wind, and that's why you're seeing that plume of smoke drift very vigorously as well. We're looking at that deepening marine layer, and as the evening progresses with the sunset at 7:26, we'll see more of those clouds rolling on shore. The winds will begin to dial back at that point, but until that time, we are going to continue to pick up these very strong sea breeze, westerly 20 to perhaps even as strong as 30 miles per hour. Now, the relative humidity in that particular neighborhood of San Bruno happens to be between 64 and 67%. Dana, Alan?
All right, we appreciate it.
Much.
Clearly, we could see what was a fire retardant drop there by CAL FIRE as they continue to get the retardant and water on these houses that are close by, trying to prevent this thing from spreading any further.
We have two reporters in the area, Julie Watts and Joe Vasquez. Julie, we're going to start with you. What can you tell us?
Well, first of all, I can confirm what Roberta was just saying. The winds are very gusty out here, and as she mentioned, blowing from the west. Definitely breezy, which would cause some concern about possible spreading of these flames. I can also tell you out here, now keep in mind, we are actually on the overpass between 380 and 280, and there are multiple cars. I would say maybe 40, 50 cars pulled over within my eyesight. People, bystanders getting out just to watch what is going on. You mentioned earlier the CHP did shut down 280 North because they want to avoid just this sort of thing. As you can see, it's almost turned into a show down here. There's children running around. And again, we're